All right, Ramon. So we've got the board here, and I've got it here on my little lab bench here. I've been fixing it. So let's take a look and see what things that we've done here so you can kind of know what's going on. All right. So here are the three main processing chips, right here, right here, right here. So what we've done is we put a heat sink on each one of these to keep it cool. All right, so that's going to increase its longevity. All right, then down over here, let me see if I can get this to lock down. There we go. So that's, of course, where we replaced your voltage regulator that blew up and exploded. You can also notice that I put a heat sink on that to keep that cool. All right, then moving over here, this chip right here, this little guy, that's another voltage regulator, and that was blown out as well, and that controls the sound. So that's the sound's power supply. Now, what the major problem is coming in here, and I was telling you about this in the other video. So if we go over here, this is where the power comes in. Now the problem with the power on the Jaguar is it uses a reverse polarity plug. Typically plugs are tip positive and ring negative. The power supply in the Jaguar is tip negative, ring positive. So what happens is people just put in a different power supply and think it's okay, and then it blows out the whole Jaguar. The reason for that is when the power comes in here, typically you'd have a bridge rectifier, some protection, but there is nothing. There's just this right here, which is a choke, and this is just to reduce the electromagnetic interference that comes out. But there's no bridge rectifier, no rectification, no protection, no nothing. Now, if you remember the last video, this little component right here just was a picture. So I've added this protection component. So this is going to basically protect the board against overvoltage. So if you have a power supply and a lightning strike happens, this is going to protect the board. When that voltage goes up really high, it'll shunt through this diode. Now, this other diode here, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit, this other diode, you can see this bent over situation here. So we took the positive from the choke, and then we ran it through, this is called the Schottky diode. And the Schottky diode only allows current to flow in one direction. So what this is going to do is, if you put the wrong power supply in here, right, that's got a reverse polarity, it's not going to allow this, the Schottky diode won't conduct, and the board just won't work. So basically, power won't get into the rest of the board and damage it. So if you put the wrong power supply, it just won't work. Put the right power supply, it'll work. So basically, this protects it completely, so now you can never blow out your Jaguar anymore. So that's all good. So we got those things in there. So we got heat sinks, we got protection on the power supply, we got shunting for transient voltage spikes for lightning strikes and all that. Got all these babies heat sinked. We got all this replaced. We got that guy replaced. We got that guy replaced. We got the board all cleaned up. So now let's take a look and let's see if this works and see if sound works. All right. So we've got your Ninja game right here. So let's go ahead and pop this in. All right. And the Jaguar, sometimes you got to turn it on and off a couple times. So hopefully let's get lucky here. So we'll push the power button on. And we got the red LED. And if you check the voltages coming out of the regulator here and the regulator here, they're both 5 volts. All right, so I'm going to cycle this a couple times and go up here. So here's a little monitor here I've got running. Let me see if I can get it to zoom in. There we go. Okay, so here we go. We're going to give this another try. So the Jaguar, the female, the cartridge slot is just really, really old, and you've just got to seat it a few times to get good contact, at least with this cartridge. You know how that goes. All right, I think it's going to work this time. There we go. So listen to the sound. Let me see if I can get rid of that glare for you. Ninja. All right, so let's give this a try.
Select your fighter.
All right, let's select the fighter.
Habaki. Select your opponent.
All right, let's go select an opponent. Let's get this fat guy, whoever he is.
Pakawa. Entering the combat zone. Round 1.
And there we go. So the game is completely working and we're all good to go. All right, and then one thing you notice, so this is going into an LCD monitor, and the monitor is running off of the AV cable. So I made you an AV cable. I don't know if I showed this to you last time, but here's the cable right here. And so this will just have AV. And then what you want to make sure to do is there's a flat side right here, and the flat side goes towards the modulator. So the flat side of the cable goes towards the modulator. I'll probably put some white on it and put some white on the case so you don't mess that up, or just put this side as top, so as long as this side is facing up, something like that. But anyway, so this will give you AV out baseband video, so it's much cleaner than the RF modulated video. So anyway, so that's it. So the board all works, so I'll put it all together and ship it back to you, man. Talk to you later.